Hey, what's going on, internet? This is Will from TheWillOfGaming, and thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. Apparently, I've been tagged by 3 different people, and so, I don't know. So, in case if you guys don't know what a tag is, what happens is that a person goes on YouTube and they start a questionnaire or questions to ask, and then they tag a few other people in the questions, and I have to answer these questions. So, without further ado, let's get started on these questions, shall we? So first question, how old were you when you first started playing video games? I remember I was 3 years old when I played my first video game. So I remember that's when I held a controller. I'm pretty sure it was probably much younger than that, then I picked up the controller and probably just stuck the controller in my mouth and kind of overed it. But I was a kid, what can you expect? I don't know. I love video games so much, I guess I wanted to eat it. But I was 3 years old. My first game was Super Mario Brothers. Loved it. And then I remember that I kept playing it, and it was the same game that I would play. And then I was just hooked on Super Mario Brothers. And then eventually I just got into other Nintendo stuff, and then it just grew from there. And that's kind of like where the origins of the Will of Gaming came from, you know. Second question. What is it about video games that you love? Oh my god, what is it about video games? What not to love about video games? What I absolutely love about video games is that it has everything. It is literally the entertainment form that has movies, music, you know, a storybook. It literally fuses all that together into one entity. And also, it's just a way to escape. It's a way to feel like you belong more than what you are. It's a very interactive thing, and I just feel like there's just so much behind it, so much evolution, so much growth. Just video games has just always been there. There's always been relatable stories, some not so relatable, some very fantasy-like, some very, you know, gory and bloody, things that you would never do in real life. But the thing is that that's what makes a video game epic, in my personal opinion, and I love it, and I love it, I love it. The next question, question number 3, can violent and graphic games be a bad influence on people? See, this is where it gets into a heated debate sort of thing. Unfortunately, yes, it can. I'm gonna say this, video games do have a bad influence. Like, for example, me the other day, I was playing a game called Bloodborne. You may have heard it. I have some videos on my channel if you guys are interested in that. But I was playing this game called Bloodborne, and this game is like ridiculously hard because it takes it back to the origin days. And yeah, it's not a very easy game. Not a very easy game. I'm having a pretty okay time with it, but I almost wanted to throw the controller. And I was thinking all these bad thoughts, like I want to hurt people. No, I don't think video games technically have a bad influence into a purpose, like, you know, how the news portrays it, like people are gonna, like, just because somebody played Grand Theft Auto, that they're gonna go out, buy an AK-47, just shoot a whole place up. I don't think video games have that influence, honestly. I think it's the person's what you take from a video game is what you take from a video game. Some people do take it to an extreme, some people don't, but I don't think it would ever get to that level. Sure, there could be maybe some minor influence in there, but I would never necessarily blame the game. It's the individual that takes it that way. But can it be influenced? I'd say yes. I say yes. Yeah, it can be influenced. On to the next question. Why did you have to put this question in here? Why? Alright, so PC or console? Console. I don't want this video to be about, you know, war and things like that, but I am a console gamer. I've always been a console gamer. I have played PC and dabbled like really young. We're talking about like really old games though, like old games, okay? So there's like a gazillion different, but anyways, yes. Moving on. I am a console gamer through and through. I've been raised on consoles. I love controllers in my hand. I'm not a keyboard mouse kind of guy. You know, I like the exclusives that I get. Sure, the graphics aren't the best. Sure, the specs aren't the best. Sure, it's whatever. Sure, you can play with mods. Sure, you can do all that other stuff. But I want it easy. I like my games easy. Put in a disc and that's it. Now this generation's all about wait and then you play the game, but still, you know, same difference. I like the Steam sales though on PC. Do you watch Let's Players on YouTube? And if so, who? I'm a Let's Player. I like to play lots of games. I like to record them on this channel. But as far as watching Let's Players, I dabble. If there's a person that got a game like extremely early and, you know, I can't resist the temptation enough, I will look at it. Let's Players, personally though, I mean, I like the Jay Wits, but he doesn't really do Let's Plays. But yeah, I like the Jay Wits. But other than that, you know, I look at some of my friends' playthroughs or like little playthrough things that they have, but not really a whole video game playthrough. I can't sit that long. I don't have an attention span to last that long, and as hypocritical as that sounds, I make a video, but I don't expect people to watch every single one of my videos. So yeah, moving on. So question 7, what's your favorite genre of games? I love action adventures. I love platforms. I love fighting games. But if I have to pick one specifically, oh my god, I would say action adventure platformer. Next question! Are you an old school gamer or do you like getting the newest consoles? I'd say I'm a little bit of both, but mostly I like to get the new school stuff lately. I kind of grow with my consoles. I kind of don't tend to stay in the past too much. I like playing games from the past if they were to ever come across my way. It's a great nostalgia thing, but I usually tend to move with the games and kind of just go with the flow. But unfortunately, if the day were to ever come where PC became, you know, the master race and consoles didn't exist anymore, I probably would turn over to that, but most likely, knowing myself, if I'm forced to use a keyboard and mouse, no go. Bye bye. Nintendo or Sega? Definitely Nintendo. I remember when I was a little kid and Super Nintendo and Genesis were already out. And I think it was like the year 1994 where I got a Super Nintendo. And I remember that I asked my mother specifically for Christmas, well, I asked Santa, you know, like, I even wrote a letter, everything. I said, Santa, I want a Sega, because my friend had a Sega, and I didn't know that Super Nintendo even existed, to be honest, at the time. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited. Next thing you know, my mother accidentally got me the Super Nintendo instead of the Sega Genesis that I wanted. And she made the right decision, because honestly, I loved the Super Nintendo. I loved everything about it. I thought everything about the Super Nintendo was just insane, and you know, it was cool. I had Mario Paint and Super Mario World, and then the Donkey Kong Country series came out, and then Super Metroid. Like, there were just so many games, and I'm just like, this was the greatest day of my life. Favorite or least favorite video game character? My favorite character definitely has to be Link from the Legend of Zelda series. Absolutely love Link. Reason why I love Link is because he's just a hero of time. There's many different forms of him, and I think that you can relate to at least one of them. I know that he's mute and he doesn't talk in any single one or anything like that, but I love the stereotypical hero has to save the princess, save the world. I like that. As far as my favorite villain, it has to be Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. He's definitely the most memorable, in my personal opinion. I love Ganondorf too, don't get me wrong, but Sephiroth, something about Sephiroth, just being a good guy at one point, and then just to realize that everything just pisses you off, and just everything, then all of a sudden you turn evil, and you just hate the world. I love that storyline. I love it. I can't get enough of it. Are you a Let's Player? And if yes, what influenced you to make a gaming channel? Well, Let's Playing was never really on my radar for The Will of Gaming. Originally, I started YouTube by doing daily vlogs, and then eventually I kind of moved up and I started a channel with a bunch of my friends, and we did something called Gamers Nation. and then we went kind of on hiatus, and then we started it back up again, and then we met all these wonderful people and great people in the gaming community, and then all of a sudden we went on hiatus again. So like, I don't know. But anyway, so I decided that I just wanted to work on my own channel, kind of like do a little bit more, but I wasn't sure what this channel was gonna be. So I was trying to figure it out, and so I started it in August of last year. So I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? So eventually I figured I want to do videos that are easy to kind of put out and stuff, and do commentary and all this other stuff. And eventually I started to do Let's Plays. And then I felt like, oh my god, I'm boring. I can't come up with commentary. It's very hard. It's very difficult. Everything is difficult about Let's Plays. And it's a lot harder when you have to do it yourself. You have to go through all the footage, make sure that it's like completely good. You don't want like everybody to see your deaths and stuff. So it's like, yeah. And then having to re-watch everything that I just did instead of doing live commentary like I should. But favorite video game soundtrack? Oh my god, this is a tough question. I love the Super Smash Brothers soundtrack for the Wii U and 3DS. Like, I love the soundtrack. I love everything about it. Shovel Knight. Oh my god, Shovel Knight was so cool. Streets of Rage, Wave Race, Mario Kart 8. So many good soundtracks. The Final Fantasy X, Kingdom Hearts, like literally every single one of these soundtracks I listen to. Mega Man, just all these soundtracks I listen to, and it is freaking fantastic. But if I had to choose one, it would be Super Smash Bros. Because it just has so many music from so many different games, and it's definitely a cop-out answer, but I love the Super Smash Bros. Soundtrack. That counts. Alright, moving on to the next question. Any game recommendations? So I'm assuming, and by this question, I'm just assuming that games that people didn't think of. You know, like games that people don't know of. I definitely recommend, if you haven't played it, it was free on PlayStation Plus. It's probably sitting in your library or whatever. But I definitely recommend Dust and Legion Tale. I do have a walkthrough on that. I think it's definitely a fantastic game. It's an indie game. There's like a Let's Play right here on my channel. If you guys are definitely interested, be sure to check it out. It is fantastic. I think the game is just wonderful. Also, I recommend Never Alone, Brothers. There's a lot of indie games that I definitely would recommend. It's absolutely fantastic, and I think you guys definitely would enjoy yourselves if you guys took that route. If you could be a character from any game, who would you choose and why? Oh my god, that's such a hard question. I can't even think. I'd say Sonic the Hedgehog. That's very surprising for me to say, even to myself. The reason why I say Sonic the Hedgehog is because he's fast, and I would want to run that fast and just kind of just like run and just like be super fast. I don't know. I like speed. I guess not like drugs, but speed as in running, like the Flash and stuff. So Sonic would definitely be, I think, would be a fun thing to embody, I guess, if that makes any sense. And final question, who would you tag? So I'd like to nominate in the tag, because you guys are going to be it. I would like to nominate my friend Dre, who is, it's Allendor Anderson, so that's his channel. I'd like to nominate my friend Kat. She is on Lunarville. So yeah, you have to handle these questions too. I like to nominate my friend Thomas, who's also known as Gay Shark. So be sure to check these people out. Be sure to answer these questions on your channel if you guys want to, and be sure to tag your friends. I also like to thank my friend Lynn, who nominated me on her video, and I like to thank Miss K. She nominated me on her video, and Kuuppon, who had every intention to nominate me on her video, but unfortunately she didn't. So whatever. Sorry, Kuuppon, just giving you a hard time. Anyways, guys, be sure to check out other videos on my channel. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I love you guys, and I keep it gaming. Always keep it gaming. And subscribe to me. I love you. Bye.